Hi, my name is Artem, and I have always been fascinated by the animal world. Since childhood, I've been captivated by stories of animals with incredible abilities. The more I learned, the more I became convinced. We tend to underestimate our neighbors on this planet. Animals are not just instinct-driven beings. They are mysteries we have yet to unravel. One day, I came across an article about a creature that completely overturned my understanding of the boundary between humans and nature. It was an octopus. Imagine this. It has 3 hearts, blue blood, and 8 limbs, each of which acts as if it has a mind of its own. But that's just the beginning. Octopuses are not merely intelligent. They are the geniuses of the sea. Once, scientists conducted an experiment. They gave an octopus a closed jar with food inside. For us, it would take a few seconds to unscrew the lid. But for the octopus, a creature without bones, it took less than 2 minutes. I watched the video and couldn't believe my eyes. It used its tentacles to figure out how the lid worked and unscrewed it. What struck me the most was that the octopus wasn't randomly trying to open the jar. It was analyzing. Moments like this make me wonder, could we be wrong in thinking of ourselves as the only intelligent species? Octopuses don't have societies like ours, but they solve complex problems, remember people, and even show personality. There's a famous story of an octopus in a lab that would deliberately squirt water at a light it disliked. It knew exactly what it was doing. Another hero on my personal list of marvels is the New Caledonian crow. If you think tool-making is exclusive to humans, you're mistaken. These crows craft actual tools. For example, to extract worms from hard-to-reach places, they break branches and shape them into hooks. What's more, they can plan. First, they create the tool and then they use it. Once, I saw a recording of an experiment. A crow was given several objects: a tube, a piece of wire, a box, and a treat hidden inside the box. The crow realized that without a tool, the box couldn't be opened, and the wire was the only suitable item. It bent the wire into a hook and used it to retrieve the treat. And here's the important part. This wasn't instinct, it was logic. When I see things like this, I realize intelligence comes in many forms. For us, being smart is about language, numbers, and computers. But for animals, it's about adapting, solving problems, and surviving. Sometimes I feel we could learn a lot from them. Of course, when talking about intelligence, it's impossible not to mention dolphins. These marine mammals seem to live in a world even more complex than ours. They have a unique language in which each dolphin has its own name, a distinct whistle. It's as if they're saying, "Remember me by this sound." In one experiment, researchers discovered that dolphins can communicate not just basic messages but complex ones. For example, if one dolphin notices something unusual, it can't tell the others. What's more, dolphins understand abstract concepts like same and different. Imagine the level of thought required for that. I once had the chance to hear a recording of dolphins communicating underwater. It sounded like music, but with a clear structure. In moments like that, I feel we are living alongside a civilization we don't yet understand. They smile, they play, but their minds hold far more than we assume. But do you know who else amazed me to my core? Leafcutter ants. These tiny creatures are real farmers. They cut leaves not to eat but to grow fungus on them, their primary food source. Every ant in the colony has a specific role. Some gather leaves, others defend the colony, and still others tend the fungus farms. And all this happens without a central leader. Their actions are so precisely coordinated that it feels as if someone is watching over and guiding them. I've also always been fascinated by elephants. They possess incredible memories. Elephants can remember routes to waterholes they visited decades ago. But what truly moves me is their emotions. They experience sadness, joy, and even grief. When an elephant in a herd dies, the others return to the site of its death years later and stand there in silence. I've seen footage of such moments, and it made my heart ache. It was so much like human mourning that I realized we're not so different. Every time I dive into the study of animals, I realize that the world around us is far more complex and incredible than we think. Every creature is not just a bundle of instincts but a story, a life, a form of intelligence we are just beginning to comprehend. Octopuses, crows, dolphins, ants, elephants, they all show us that intelligence can take many forms. I turned off my computer and gazed out the window. The sky was beginning to lighten, and the first rays of sunlight painted everything in a soft golden hue. In these moments, I don't just feel like a person. I feel like a part of something much bigger. A vast, incredible world where every creature has its role, its secrets, its unique story. You know what fascinates me most? It's how animals can adapt to the most incredible conditions. Take naked mole rats, for instance. At first glance, they're not exactly appealing. Small, nearly hairless, and living underground. But their world is a true biological wonder. These creatures feel almost no pain, can survive in low oxygen conditions, and even have immunity to some cancers. Scientists have been studying them for decades, trying to uncover the secrets of their longevity and health. I feel that within their tiny bodies lies the answer to questions that could save millions of lives. Or consider Japanese macaques, often called snow monkeys. They live in regions where winter temperatures drop below freezing but have found a way to stay warm. They relax in hot springs. I once saw a photo, macaques sitting in the steaming water, their faces so peaceful it looked more like a spa day than a survival tactic. But it's more than just a habit. Scientists discovered that hot springs help them not only stay warm but also reduce stress levels. Imagine how these animals learn to use nature to improve their well-being. And let's not forget the incredible empathy animals often show. For instance, there's the story from India where a wild elephant rescued a child who had fallen into a river. It spotted the child, reached out with its trunk, and pulled them to safety. Or dolphins, which often guide drowning people to shore. I once read about a woman who fell off a kayak far out in the ocean. She spent hours in the water, fighting for her life, until dolphins surrounded her and started pushing her toward land, protecting her from sharks. How did they understand she needed help? Why did they decide to help? We don't have the answers, but these stories always feel like more than just instinct. Yet, every time I think about animals, I wonder, how many extraordinary creatures do we still not know about? The depths of the oceans, for example, remain a mystery. In the dark, where no light penetrates, live beings we can only dream of. Deep-sea fish, jellyfish that glow like Christmas lights. Or giant squids, never seen alive, whose existence is confirmed only by the remains washed ashore. Once, I heard a story about a ship stranded in the open ocean during a storm. The sailors reported seeing strange glowing lights beneath the water. It was the phenomenon of bioluminescence, millions of microscopic organisms lighting up simultaneously, as if the ocean itself had turned on a light show. Imagine what that looked like, endless black water and suddenly a burst of light, as if nature itself decided to put on a spectacle. Animals are not just part of our world, they are its foundation. They remind us that nature is far more complex and intelligent than we give it credit for. We know so little, but the more we learn, the clearer it becomes that every creature plays its unique role in this intricate ecosystem. When I go for a walk in the forest or simply watch birds outside my window, I feel a growing sense of gratitude. Gratitude for living in a world where crows make tools, dolphins have their own language, and octopuses open jars. It's a reminder that we are not alone, that there are billions of other lives around us, each one a little miracle. And with that, I end my story, but there are many more amazing discoveries ahead of us. If you enjoyed my tale, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. Which animal amazes you the most? Perhaps I'll tell its story in the next video. See you soon.